Hi everyone, and thank you again for joining our one-stop demo series. Today's demo is about HubSpot workflows. I'll be presenting to you. I'm Lisa Campo. I'm a HighRoad MarTech consultant. This is me. I've been with HighRoad for 9 months, and I manage projects, create content, and I am the go-to HubSpot consultant on the MarTech side. Previously, I worked in digital content, writing, editing, and marketing for associations. And before that, I was a news copy editor and designer. If you have any questions about today's demo, you can tweet at me at HighRoadLisa, or you can email me at lcampo at HighRoadSolution.com. That's lcampo at HighRoadSolution.com. Let's get right to the content. When you're in HubSpot, this is your dashboard, so we're going to start there. I've logged in under the HighRoad Solution account because that's really the best way to show you how workflows work, because we have a lot of them set up. So to go to workflows, you go to Contacts, Workflows. This is the workflows dashboard here. It shows you all the workflows that you have. This includes drafts or anything that isn't currently on. You can tell if something's on if it's got a green button or a green dot next to it. Right here, these are all off, and then these are on again. If you just start over from the left, they have a very quick and easy tutorial that will walk you through this in case you don't just learn from watching videos, you can read it. There's also a tutorial online from HubSpot that's just, here it looks just like this. It's just a workflow user guide. Okay, so this is, since workflows is under the contact dropdown, it's got all the different things you can go to here for contacts. So contacts, lists, forms, and lead scoring. We're not going to be talking about that today, but I just wanted you to know why it's listed there. All right, so to start off, I just want to show you this really cool little thing that HubSpot has. And this is basically most commonly used workflows to help you figure out some ideas of what kind of workflows you'd like to do. Although I'm sure you would have tons of ideas if you were starting, or if you already started with this. So I'm going to click on Browse Recipes and just show you what it looks like. So this is just a list of they're calling it recipes, and it's just different types of workflows. So if you want to nurture your subscribers, you can do this. So it gathers all contacts at the subscriber lifecycle stage and sends them automated emails in an attempt to turn them into leads. All right, so it's got the list of everything that it's going to do within that workflow. There's a lead nurturing workflow, a sales notification workflow, customer nurturing for people who already exist, or who are members or customers, because you will probably be using this for members. Evangelist nurturing is people who really love your product. You want to keep them involved. Data cleanup, which we have used before. And that's why it says add this recipe again, because we've used it. We haven't used this one, so it just says add this recipe. It kind of changes to accommodate what you've done here. Let's go back to our workflow dashboard. I just want to show you an example of a very simple workflow. I'm going to click on our Q3 2015 Client Innovation Call. This is an active workflow. So what happens in this workflow is that this is to automatically enroll contacts when they meet certain criteria. The criteria here is the contact fills out our form about the Q3 Innovation Call. So they register for a Q3 Innovation Call. What happens when they do that is it sets their contact property, which is under Contacts and Properties, to yes, which means before it was either null, which is nothing was there, or it could potentially be no. This is, and the workflow ends. 40 completed workflow. You can look at that, or we'll look at that in a second. So what this basically did for us is without us having to go in and manually change 40 different people or manually put in a field or a property and change 40 different people's status to yes on that. We just put this workflow in and said anybody who filled out this form gets their contact property set to yes. And this is helpful because later when we want to send people an email, like a follow-up email, say, hey, did you like our Q3 innovation call? We can just use the list that's created, or we can create a list based on this workflow. So we can say only send to people whose contact property Q3 2015 client innovation call is yes. And that makes it, so this makes it a ton easier to contact these particular people. Now let's look at the performance here. There's no performance because there's not an email involved. This is a really simple workflow. I'll show you a different one and we'll build one as well. History, these are the people who've completed our workflow. So these are the people who have set up or who have filled out that particular form. These are some settings for your workflow. Re-enrollment is currently disabled, so we do not have that on, and we can talk about that in a minute. We don't have execute actions only within a certain time range because that doesn't apply to this. And we don't have execute actions on business days only because that would apply more to emails. So we don't have any campaigns that it's specifically going through or personas that it's specifically targeting here. There are also things where you can suppress people from being put into a workflow. So you can select a list and say, I don't want anybody who is on, anyone who went to another webinar that we did to be contacted through this. You can take them off and they won't be, or you can put that list here, and this is just a list of this is all of our lists that exist. So you can say, I don't want anyone who attended, or none of our Personify clients should get this email. Let's just say we were doing something special and different for Personify clients. So everyone on this list would be exempt from this email. They'd be suppressed. And if you scroll over these little question marks, it tells you exactly what's going to happen. So these are different priorities. So they can be involved in multiple workflows, or the contacts can be involved in multiple workflows. So if you want to remove a contact from a workflow, once they become involved in this workflow, you can select which ones they need to be removed from. Then when a contact no longer meets the starting conditions, do you want to unenroll them from the workflow? So let's just say for some reason somebody's status on the Q3 client innovation call changed to no. Would they be taken out? No, they wouldn't be because they signed up for it. So they're still going to get any emails we send regarding that. We can add a description here if you want to describe what exactly this workflow is about. And for these, you can actually go and do this by time. Most of HubSpot has these options at the top. So you can say this week this happened. You show all event types, successful actions, progress updates, any alerts and errors if you want to look at those. We've got no alerts and errors. Like I said, this is a simple workflow. Okay. So let's go back and view another workflow that's maybe a little more complicated. So let's look at Fall Cleanup Special Brienne. I'm pretty sure I know what this one's about. So we recently had a fall, it was an email cleanup special. So if you went to our page and filled out our Fall Cleanup Special form, then we basically gave you and Brienne is your account manager. So that means you're already going to be someone who uses HighRoad. So a client who filled out the Fall Cleanup Special and already belongs to Brienne, and everyone has different assigned account managers, or you filled out Fall Cleanup Special and the company property is equal to Brianne, which means we've got two separate ways of keeping track of our clients. Then you can have it send an internal email to Kate, which is one of our other account managers, because Kate is the one who is handling this particular project. Okay, so this basically is just saying anyone who's filled out this fall cleanup special is going to be sent Kate's going to be sent an email about it. Okay, and we can click on this and see what it looks like. So this is actually an email. You can open the page and look at us. So this is just giving the salesperson the information that was just filled out on the page. That way she'll have it when she can reach out and set up the project that the person is requesting. Okay, let's go back to this. I'm not going to do anything there. Let's go to performance. Okay, so it looks like a couple of people filled this out. Let's go to different event types, progress updates. So this person completed workflow. There's something scheduled for execution, which means there was an action that was going to happen at this specific time. Where they're showing us that this person is enrolled as a result of meeting the starting criteria. And then at one point, Kate actually completed the workflow. She was probably testing it out. And this is another employee, Liz. She was also likely testing it out. Successful actions mean this is all the times the email was sent to Kate to let her know that this is happening. And there's no alerts or errors here. Okay, so we already went through most of these. And this is especially good if you're sending out, if you want to do something like a membership renewal campaign or something like that. And you may want to send emails only on business days. You can actually go in here. Oh, and it doesn't have this because it's not the type that allows it. But you can go in here and say, I only want these things to happen. I only want this email to be sent between Monday and Friday at certain times. So let's go look at a different one, and then we'll create one. Okay, those are old, so let's look at a little bit of a newer one. Here's another automation technique that is inactive right now, but it was active, and I believe this is for our internal salespeople. So basically, let's say you visited our marketing automation page less than a week ago. Okay, so you visited the marketing and automation page less than 7 days ago, so you were enrolled into this workflow. If the contact property owner is equal to Kevin, then the workflow ends. Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't end there. It changed. So it sends an internal email sales auto notification to Kevin. If it is not, if the person does not already belong to Kevin, if Kevin is not their HubSpot owner, which is basically their account manager, here's the No tab, then it's going to send an internal email to Kate, who is one of our other account managers. So it's basically saying that people who aren't owned by Kevin are going to be taken care of by Kate. So this is all internal sales things, which you can extend to associations, and that whoever's in charge of membership would get an internal email if someone completed a specific membership workflow. Okay, now let's just go through this really quick. You can actually sort through active workflows and inactive workflows. So we're in active, inactive, all of these. Standard. These are standard. There's fixed date workflows, which we don't have those right now. And then there are property-based workflows, which it doesn't look like we have those right now either. You can also look at who created which workflow, and a lot of these were created by our marketing manager, Liz, especially for the client innovation calls. And other ones were created by our CMO, Suzanne, who is at the bottom here. You can look at them based on what personas the workflow belongs to. Now this is helpful, and I believe we can look at our old ones. When you want to funnel people into personas, you can click on here. Okay, so we basically uploaded a list of people, and then we have a 2-minute delay on it, and have it set the contact property persona to Power Heather. So this is actually just we uploaded contacts, and then we said we uploaded them into this specific list, then change their contact property. So this is another really simple workflow. So if you see over here, when you look up at the top right, there are a couple things you can do here. You can enroll people in a workflow. You can manually do that, okay? And this is, you can do it by list or you can do it by contact. So I can search for me, and I have two, one for my old job and one for me right now, and add me to the Power Heather list if I want to. Or I can actually go through the lists here and say everybody who is a personified client fits into our Power Heather persona. You can test your workflow by, usually you'd want to use yourself, because as it notes, the contact will execute all of the steps. So we'd want to use me, or if you have a specific test contact set up, you want to do that so you can review the workflow. You can clone this workflow. That way, if it were particularly long or something like that, and you didn't want to go and redo everything, and you just had to change one spot, you could clone it and do that in the clone. You can also delete. So the set a goal also can be very helpful, which basically means you can say, let's just say the contact property client. Let's find it. Customer. Just one customer here. Let's see. All right. Just trying to find our customer property. I wanted to show that we can, here, I'll just go through these. Let's just do became a customer date. So anyone, if you're in this and you meet any of these, basically any of the dates that I put in here, so if you became a customer after, let's just say after today. So let's say we were doing a workflow on to bring people in to become customers. That's just something, the most basic thing I can think of. A workflow to bring customers in. So if you become a customer after today's date in my workflow, you would be added to you'd be unenrolled from the workflow, and you count toward the conversion rate here. Okay, so let's just do set goal. So it'll tell you, since this doesn't work for this particular workflow, it'll tell you how many of the people from this workflow met the criteria. So it'll give you a conversion rate. It will do that for you. Let's take this off because let's delete. Okay, so we just took that off. We don't want to mess with that too much. Now let's briefly create a new workflow. Here are the types of workflows. So this is a standard workflow, so triggered by a time of enrollment, like joining dynamic or smart list or filling out a form. We've got a fixed date workflow, which is triggered by a specific date like a webinar, a conference, holiday. If we wanted to set something out around Christmas and say, season's greetings or Merry Christmas, we could do it that way. We could also do property-based. So that's triggered like by a renewal date. This is where you would do something like a member renewal reminder. But usually people do standard workflows. So let's just do test demo workflow. Okay. Now let's say enroll anybody whose contact property, let's just do, since I've been picking on personify, I don't want personify 2014. I want okay, let's just do anyone who became a customer after, let's just say January, or let's do a year ago, November 2014. Oh, okay, 11/10, done. Okay, automatically enroll a contact when the person became a customer after this date, and let's see, and they filled out a form to go to download the 2015 SDMA. Or they haven't, better yet. They became a customer. Let's see. Save. So the contact property became a customer after 11/10/2014, and they have not filled out the 2015 SDMA download. Okay? So we can also do or here, so it can be an and or an or statement. So then general best practices is to add a very brief delay. So 1 minute. So if they are a customer and they haven't filled out the SDMA download, I want to do something like send them an email. Okay. Send an email. Then we can select an email, okay? Now for this purpose, I am just going to do Q2 Innovation Call Invite. Let's ignore that. Let's pretend it is a come download. We know you're a customer. Come download our State of Digital Marketing and Associations report. Okay. Let's save that. Okay. Now let's add another action here. Let's do an if-then branch. So let's base this on just, I don't know, company property. Let's see. The subscriber, let's just say customer, not customer, system, company current systems contains any of, let's just say if the company is Aptify, we want it to go, here, we've got it there. So we're going to send all of these people an email. Then let's just say if they're an Aptify, we have some sort of special Aptify deal. If yes, you want to go over here, we'd add another action, sending them an email saying, we noticed you didn't send out or you didn't fill out the SDMA report and that you're a customer. Did you know that there are certain things about Aptify that are contained in this report, or something that mentions Aptify? And then if no, we would go on and continue with the workflow, and the people who are with Aptify would be over in the yes branch. The people who are not with Aptify would be over in the no branch. So this continues until, well, it ends right here, but I can keep on going with this, seemingly forever, which you don't want to do. But that's just a brief overview of how this would work and why you might want to use it. Because this, resubscribe and retargeting and re-engagement campaigns can be a real pain to kind of do if you're not doing them with automation. Automation kind of makes everything a lot easier, at least once you have it set up. You do have to put a little work in the beginning, but it more than pays itself off. So this is just an overview of HubSpot workflows. Let's go back to, let's delete my test demo workflow. We don't need that. We're back in workflows. So remember that if you have HubSpot, you can always go in and look and poke around here, and as long as your workflow isn't active, you're not going to hurt anything. If you don't have HubSpot, you can, I'm sure, sign up for a test drive or contact us if you're interested in learning more about this. I think the workflow tool is one of the best aspects of HubSpot, and it's really helpful for automation in general. Okay, so that is all for our HubSpot workflows demo. Again, let's bring up my PowerPoint. I'm Lisa Campo. I'm a MarTech consultant here, so if you have any questions, just email me at alcampo@highroadsolution.com or tweet at me at HighRoadLisa. And thank you for coming to our one-stop demo today.